Welcome, 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 everybody. We are live here on Total Entertainment Radio. I am G Sweets, the host of Influence to Influence with G Sweets. And here on Influence to Influence, we like to spotlight influencers that are making a positive impact in their community. And I have to say, the guest that I have here today, she is doing just that and beyond. Okay. She is the epitome of purpose. And we're going to get into why I feel this way. She is the founder of the T&T Wilson Foundation. We have Miss Tracy Wilson with us today. Hi,
Hello, hello.
Tracy.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am good on this hot Friday here in Georgia. It's kind of hot, having hot flashes. I don't know what's going on, girl.
I am so jealous because it is rainy and cold here in Detroit, Michigan.
No, I've
It
been to
is.
Michigan. It was Battle Creek, Michigan, but it was snowing. It was in the winter
Oh,
time,
yeah,
honey. I'm
yeah.
good. I don't want to go back.
That's Michigan for you. Michigan does
Mhm.
not know if it wants to be hot, cold, snow. So we just kind of go with the wind.
Just go with it. Just
Just
go with the flow. That's what the flow is. Just flow with it.
just
Rain,
flow
snow,
with it.
whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Miss Tracy, can you let everybody know a little bit about you?
Oh, that's a loaded question. No, seriously. My name is Tracy Wilson. I was born and raised in Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl.
Okay.
Um, but I have been living in Georgia for the last 26 years. I moved to Georgia with a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, Terrell and Taekwon, to give
Okay.
them a better life. So
Okay.
I'm still a Jersey girl, but I
Okay.
live in Georgia now. But I came down here. So I used to work at the World Trade Center. And
Okay.
um,
Interesting.
yeah, I used to work at the World Trade Center, and I was on my way to take my baby to school. And
Okay.
this drug dealer walked up to me and said, "What do you want?" And I was like, first of all, I have my baby with me. Second of
Right.
all, I don't even do drugs. So why would you approach me in that manner? And he said, "You'd be surprised how many people look just like you on their way to work, need their morning fix." And I was
Hmm.
done. I was done. I said, "I'm done. I can't do
Wow.
this no more. I can't do this no more." So I called my dad. I told my dad I was leaving. I boxed up what I could. I knew
Hmm.
one person here in Georgia, and I came to Georgia and I never looked back. I never looked back in 26 years. I said,
Wow.
I'm not going to raise two boys in this environment anymore. So
Right.
I packed up all I could and moved down here and never went back to Jersey. Been in Georgia ever since. Ever since.
Wow. Well,
Hmm.
look at that. Look at that. So you're in Georgia
I'm in Georgia.
and you founded the T&T Wilson Foundation.
So it originally was called. So the backstory is I've lost both of my children, Terrell and Taekwon. So Terrell passed away in 2007. He was 14. He had an aorta dissection, which is the main artery to the heart. It goes from your heart to your stomach, and it tore. He died in my arms,
Oh my.
and yeah, he passed away in my arms. He went through a whole series of being sick, and
Wow.
at the time I wasn't CPR instructed. I
Okay.
didn't know what to do or how to save my son. And so it was my mission after he passed away to make sure that I was CPR trained, to
Okay.
make sure that I that another mother or father didn't have to go through what I went through. You know, his
Hmm.
last words to me was, "Mommy, I'm okay. Mommy, I'm
Oh
okay."
my.
And he wasn't okay,
Hmm.
and I knew he wasn't okay, but there was nothing that I can do in that moment to save my child.
Oh my.
Um, and so it was originally called the Terrell Wilson Foundation at first. And so here in Georgia, we were trying to get a bill passed, and we'll get into that later because
Hmm.
so we were trying to get a bill passed on echocardiograms and EKGs in the school systems. And
Nice.
that was going on since 2008. And
Okay.
then, um, you know, it didn't happen then. But,
Okay.
here we are years later, and some things have happened here in 2024, but we'll get into that a little later. So it was originally called the Terrell Wilson Foundation.
The Terrell Wilson Foundation.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So Terrell is your youngest son,
Terrell was my baby. He was 14.
14
Mhm,
years old, and he
mhm.
passed away. What was the condition that he had?
It's an aorta dissection. So
Aorta
it's
dissection.
Yeah, so it's the main artery to the heart. So the aorta runs from your heart to your stomach. And so if
Hmm.
you're not looking at it on a monitor, you won't find it. You have to physically be looking for that particular tear in order, or that particular valve, to find what's the problem. And so they didn't do that. Prior to him passing away in September of 2007, I took him to the hospital in June,
Hmm.
and they ruled it as a panic attack.
Mm.
What 14-year-old has panic
That's
attacks,
right. Absolutely.
in a stable environment? He was, in a very stable environment. And then those same symptoms that he had in June, he had them in September, but they were a little bit more increased.
Hmm.
And my baby just died in my arms. So I still tear up to this day about that, still
I mean,
think,
how could you not?
yeah,
How could
yeah,
you not? This
yeah.
is your baby, your baby that was in your arms, and
Mhm,
I, I cannot relate, because I don't have any children of my own.
mhm.
But if I was a mother, right, the strength that you had then, knowing that it was absolutely nothing that you could do, right,
Nothing. There was nothing.
to help your child. I mean, man, that's heavy,
Yeah,
Tracy.
yeah.
That's very heavy.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy. So Terrell had these symptoms.
Mhm.
Um, what made these symptoms flare up? Like, was he in sports?
So he played football. He
Okay.
was an offensive lineman for Collinsville High School here in Georgia. But he was a little guy. He wasn't like the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play. He didn't play that last 2 weeks. And so it might be, you remember Three's Company. You remember
Yes.
John Ritter. So
Yes.
that's how John Ritter died, from an aorta dissection. It was
Okay.
very quick, very, it wasn't nothing that they can do. And it was the same thing that happened to Terrell. So an aorta dissection is usually found in older people,
Okay.
70, 80. They go to lift something, and the strain on their heart, that's what that is.
Mm,
But at 14, he wasn't lifting anything to,
right.
you know, so it's rare that you find it in children. And it was one of those rare cases with him.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you were talking about a bill that that's passed, or a bill that you wanted to pass then,
Hmm.
to get more EKG machines in the
Well,
schools.
defibrillators.
Oh,
So that
defibrillators. Right. 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 Right.
defibrillators in the school. But see, when they do sports physicals,
Mm-hmm.
they only touch your toes, run in place, right? And
Right.
then you're clear to play. But why not do an EKG on the child's heart? Because maybe that mother or that father didn't know that their children had any defects in their heart when they were born.
Right.
Maybe it didn't happen until years later, and
Right.
that's what we were trying to change in 2008, to in the sports physicals, do a little bit more extensive testing, if you will,
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so they didn't do that part. They did something else though, which is kind of one and the same when you think about it. But I would prefer at least an EKG done in the sports physicals, because not even just the athletes, the cheerleaders,
Mm, right.
anybody just that's out there, because you never know what defects a child has or have or grown into. So
Absolutely.
it's been
Absolutely.
it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this bill. How did this go for you? What made, I know your son passing away, it was a big reason for, going after this bill, right?
Mhm.
So how did this all come about for you?
So with me starting the Terrell Wilson Foundation, I single-handedly started it myself. I did the
Mhm.
bylaws, I did the articles of incorporation. I was a one-woman show, because
Okay.
my mission was, I did not want another parent to go through what I went through, right? So it
Hmm.
was writing letters to the state capitol, getting involved in the community, just talking, outreach, um, meeting with other parents who've gone through similar things like me, and teaming up with the American Heart Association. And it kind of went silent for a minute, you know. We just kept
Mhm.
fighting and kept trying to open doors. And I am a CPR trained instructor now. So
Okay.
I do classes, I do CPR trainings, you know, doesn't have to
Okay.
be in Georgia. I could come to you, but it's not gonna
Nice.
be raining when I come there. Um, and so fast forward for the bill, since we're talking
Mhm.
about that. So the HB 874 bill was passed March 21st of this year, which was huge
Yes.
because so what that means is every school here in Georgia, from middle school, elementary, high school, college, daycare, you name it, every school here in Georgia will have a working defibrillator in their schools. So we teamed up with the American Heart Association. We teamed up Matt Ryan, who was a former quarterback for the Falcons.
Mhm.
We teamed up with a couple of the people from UGA, which is one of the main colleges here in Georgia. Um, Go Bulldogs, you
Okay.
know. And we got that bill passed. And so we stood on the Capitol March 11th, and that bill passed March 21st. So I would rather have my son, but
Absolutely.
to keep his name and his legacy alive.
Alive.
And it was another mother with me, Stephanie. She had just lost her son in December, and so to see that happen and to be a part of that, to know the journey and the struggles that it was amazing. It was bittersweet, but it was amazing nonetheless. It was definitely amazing.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Tracy.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Everybody, this is why I say she's the epitome of purpose. The epitome of purpose. She has taken her pain and turned it into something. Purpose.
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 Purpose driven. I have uh, it's so much more to the story because
It
I have
is.
my first son, and
Mhm.
so turning that pain into power. I have a book coming out called "When Pain Meets Power," and that's my journey. That'll be out in September.
Yes.
Actually, it's like my autobiography. It's my whole journey.
Yes.
Losing both of my children, losing my father. You know, there's been a lot of grief that I've gone through in my
Man.
life, and um, I thank God every day, that I'm not
Yes.
on any drugs, that I don't have to, I'm doing it cold turkey with God's grace and
With
mercy.
God. Come
Mhm,
through,
mhm.
Tracy. Won't he do it?
Won't
Okay.
you? Yes,
Won't
yes.
he do it? I mean, you do not look like what you've been through.
Thank you.
The light is shining all
Thank,
over you. His hands is on you and I can see that.
thank you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's go into the other T
The other T
from T and T
from
Wilson,
T.
your oldest baby.
So fast forward. So when Terrell passed away, Terrell was 14
Okay.
and his brother was 16. And so the backstory behind that, I want to share this with you, is the day
Mhm.
before Terrell passed away, Terrell and Taekwon had a fight. They brothers, they
Your
fight.
brothers fight. Absolutely.
And Taekwon said, "I wish I was the only child and I hope you die." And
Oh
the next
my.
day, his
He
brother
passed
died.
away.
So he carried that. He carried that pain. He carried that. He spiraled out of control. Um, I sent him to Job Corps, and I tell this story because this is kind of funny. So I had him in Job Corps, and he's down in Job Corps. I'm sending him care packages, and he's
Mhm.
selling he's selling the food down there because he don't want to
You
eat.
want to make some money.
He hustling down there. I'm giving me all these sad stories, and he down there making profits off the stuff that I'm sending him. That
Right.
was just my son. So, um, he just couldn't handle that. He carried all of that,
Mhm.
and it spiraled for a second, and then we're gonna fast forward to 2018. So I had to have a full hysterectomy.
Okay.
So now my child is 26. He left home at 21, and he thought he was grown, and
Mhm.
all handsome and cute, and all little girls all over him and stuff like that. So he wanted to be grown, so mommy let him be grown.
Mhm.
So then he came back because he had to take care of me.
Okay.
And so in 2018, I had a full hysterectomy. So I'm going to bring you up to 2019.
Okay.
So during my history, and a lot of people don't know, I'm a big Prince fan.
Are you?
Big,
I
big.
love Prince too.
Heading out to Minnesota Monday, all things Prince next week for my vacation, right?
Okay.
And so there was this little boy named Caden, and Caden was diagnosed with brain cancer when he was 3.
Oh my.
They gave him until he was 8 to live. He's 16. He'll be 16 in October. So look at
Look at
God.
God. Look at God.
So I kept seeing this little boy on Facebook, and he's singing Prince songs. And if you know Prince, Prince has some songs that little
He does.
children could not be singing. So I kept seeing this little boy, and I was like, why is this little boy? Okay. So I inboxed his mother, and I said, with him being sick, have you ever taken him to Minnesota to the land of Prince?
Hmm.
And she said, no, the Make a Wish sent him to Disney World. And, so I wrote his name on a piece of paper and I went to sleep. And when I woke up, God gave me the vision, Caden's Big Adventure.
Oh.
So I put it out there to the Purple family because that's what we call. I put it out there to the Purple family. And from my bed, I raised $7,000 to send
Wow.
his mother, his father, his twin brother, and Caden to Minnesota.
Minnesota. Look at that, Tracy.
So from July all the way up until April,
Hmm.
we were planning this big event for Caden. So in April of 2019, my 27-year-old son had a breakdown. His job called me and said, Taekwon is having some type of break and we need to send him to the hospital. Would you mind? And my response was, I'd be pissed if you didn't send him to the hospital. If you don't, because I couldn't get to him,
Hmm.
I'm on one side of town, he's on another side of town. So they sent him to the hospital
Hmm.
on April 8th, 2019. They released him April 12th on 4 different antidepressants. 4.
Okay.
Not regulated, nothing.
Hmm.
And then on April 16th, my son died.
Oh my goodness.
So my son, and I say this, and this is a very touchy situation. So, to your listeners, if you are dealing with any type of mental issues, this may not be
Absolutely.
what you want to listen to. So we have to put that disclaimer out.
Yes, ma'am.
So um my son was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia. I did not know. None of that.
Okay.
And he was hit by a train.
Oh my Lord.
Yes. So he had passed away 24 hours before I had found out. But the day he passed away, I had a dream about him that night.
Okay.
And in the dream, my sister told me, she said, you need to get back to Georgia because there's something going on with Taekwon.
Mm.
And I said, I'm here in Minnesota. I can't, this is in the dream. And my baby was already gone, but this is in the dream.
Hmm.
So as soon as I touched ground in Georgia, Taekwon died in the dream. And I jumped up out of my sleep and I realized that he wasn't home.
Hmm.
But I didn't freak because um, they did a lot of overtime. So when he would do those open and closes, he would go be with his best friend and then go to work the next day from his best friend's house.
Hmm.
And so I didn't pay it any attention. And I went up and I got to work. And I texted him, but he wasn't responding. I texted him and my heart was just heavy, like, because it wasn't like him not to respond to my text messages. Like he
Right.
would always respond to my text messages. So I remember sitting in my office and I said, I gotta go. I need to go find my child.
Absolutely.
And so they were like, go, we got it. Don't worry about it. And so I went looking for him. I went to the neighbors. I called all his friends. I called all the little girls, the main one, this one, that.
Hmm.
I called everybody and nobody seen him. So I called the cops. So where I used to live at, it's a little town called Statham in Georgia. And it
Okay.
reminds me of Walnut Grove from Little House on the Prairie. So now I'm
Okay.
really telling my age because, so now I'm really telling that age of, Little House on the Prairie is what I grew up on, the corner store and
Mhm.
town. So that's how it was. It was like a small
A
town
small
in Georgia.
town.
And everybody knew everybody. So they knew who I was because I used to work at the Dollar General, right? So I called the cops and um, on I guess when he passed away, all he had on his person was his debit card, and my name was tattooed across his chest, right? So maybe when they ran his blood, my information showed up. And so the dispatcher said, we got somebody coming to your house. They'll be there shortly. And in my head, like, why are they coming? Why are they
Right.
coming over? So Officer Davis and the pastor gets to the house, and um, Officer Davis says, I said, Officer Davis, what you doing here? And he says, it's about Taekwon. So it still hasn't kicked in.
Register. Mhm.
And I was like, oh, okay, he's probably locked up. Let me go get some money, get him out. And he
Mhm.
said, no, there's been an accident. Taekwon was hit by a train yesterday. And my response was, not again. And the pastor said, wait a minute, what do you mean, not again? And Officer Davis said, yeah, she lost her youngest son in 2019. I mean, 2007.
Mhm.
So in both of these instances, I never got angry with God, right? You know how
Mhm.
sometimes when you lose people, God,
Yes.
why'd you take my mom, my dad? I never got angry.
Mhm.
The question I had for God was, what now?
Mm.
What now? Like, God, okay,
Mm.
what was it with Terrell? And
Mhm.
now here we are. What is this now? So when Terrell first passed away, I had to create a new normal for me and Taekwon.
Mhm.
I had to bench my grief because I had to get my 16-year-old through.
Mhm.
And I got him through as best as I could on my own, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then Taekwon died. So now I got to get through it with just me.
Right.
And it has been a journey. So that's where the other T came in. So
Okay.
now I had to go into CEO mode and change it and restructure it because
Mhm.
now I got to speak to the matters of the heart and the matters of the mind. So that's why it's now the TNT after both of the boys at this point. Um, so it's been very challenging to say the least, but I speak their names. I do things like this. I educate people. I cry. I laugh. As
Mhm.
a matter of fact, April 16th is next week. It'll be 5 years
Wow.
since Terrell passed away. I mean, Taekwon passed away.
Taekwon.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy. I have chills right now to learn, how your foundation came about,
Mm-hmm.
the pain that you went through to create such a wonderful foundation. Oh my goodness. Jesus was beaten.
Yeah.
He
Come
was
on
lied
now.
on.
Mm-hmm.
He was betrayed.
Mm-hmm. All of that.
He was hung up on a cross
Yep.
for sins that were not his. He asked for forgiveness for
Mm-hmm.
everybody while
Yes.
up on that cross. He didn't complain. He didn't ask to be taken down. He stayed on that cross for us.
Mm-hmm.
To hear you say that after you learned that your second child passed away and you did not get angry with God and you asked him,
What
what
now?
now?
What now? But see, there's a piece that I don't like speaking about, but I speak about it
Okay.
because it's part of the journey.
Yes.
So with Taekwon, and again, this is a very sensitive topic,
It
very
is.
sensitive topic,
Very
and
sensitive topic.
very simple, sensitive topic. But in order for me to heal, I got to speak the truth.
Okay.
So during his break, and he went to the hospital, he said, the voices in my head told me to drown myself, but my mom was in the other room sleep. Let's
Mm.
process that for a second, because most of the time when someone is in the state of they want to die, they want to commit suicide, they're not thinking
Thinking he,
of
right.
no one else.
No.
And the mere fact that my child considered me,
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm.
speaks volumes of the relationship he and I
Y'all
have.
had absolutely.
So in retrospect, he had a plan. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what those last moments were walking on that train track, because he was athletic. He walked all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that he was on 4 different antidepressants at the time, so it could be a
It could
combination.
absolutely.
But I have to speak on that part because that's part of my healing journey. Because
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, I didn't talk about him
Him.
saying those things about, the
Mm-hmm.
voices in his head, because it's taboo to talk about mental health.
It
It's,
is.
it's
It is.
taboo to really, and there's so many spectrums to mental health. There's so many different dynamics to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I speak about it and I tell that story, how those voices in his head told him to drown himself. And he said, my mom was in the other room and I did not
Mm.
want her to find me that way. Ooh,
It,
that's powerful in itself,
that
because
is powerful.
it could have been a different way.
It could have.
And this Tracy that you see now might not have be this Tracy if that is how I would have found my child. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Oh.
I still ask God, what now? Even
Mm-hmm.
now, today. Okay, God, what am I doing? But I can't speak to him. I can speak to, if I'm not healing myself, I can't speak to nobody else. If I don't speak to
Absolutely.
you, if I can't speak on that part of it, because that's a
Mm-hmm.
part of his story, because he had a plan,
Absolutely.
you know. And I'm not ashamed of it. I was
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ashamed of it then. I just shied away from talking about that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I have to, because
Absolutely.
it is important that we speak about that. And so
Absolutely.
my foundation, and it's the TNT Wilson Foundation, where we deal with matters of the heart and the mind. So it ties into Terrell's heart and Taekwon's mind,
My-
and that's the vision that I had. Yeah,
Mm, mm, mm. Wow, Tracy. Wow, wow, wow. This is awesome.
it's
Ladies and
heavy.
gentlemen,
It's
it
heavy, but
is extremely heavy.
it's heavy.
However,
Hmm.
look what blossomed out of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And then
told I told you all the epitome of purpose
thank you.
because I've never heard a story like yours.
Wow.
The with the pain and the grief that you've dealt with, and to create something like this out of it,
Hmm.
something that can help someone else that may be dealing with the same thing your
Hmm.
sons dealt
Yes,
with.
yes.
Education,
Hmm.
wisdom, knowledge, those things that
Prayer,
can be prayer. Oh, a lot of that. We're not, we definitely can't leave
prayer,
that out.
prayer.
A lot of prayer, a lot of God
Hmm.
to to birth this foundation to help somebody else.
Yes,
You know, very selfless,
yes.
very selfless. No selfish in it at all.
Mm-mm.
Congratulations,
Thank
Tracy Wilson.
thank you.
Like, congratulations, big ups to you. Because I know there is a lot of people that would not be able to do or deal with what you had to deal with and do what you've done
Thank you. Thank
after this, after
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You
It
are
it
welcome.
it's been a journey, because a year and 3 months after losing Taekwon, I buried my father.
Mm,
and 20. So in 2019, I lose my son, my only
mhm,
other living son. And then in 2020, I lose my dad. And I was in the room with my dad. I was the last person to see my father. And that was during COVID. And my
mhm.
father had pancreatic cancer. So there was a lot of grief that I went through. And but I've done the work. I'm doing the work.
You
A
are.
lot of people, they shy away from therapy.
They
Believe
do.
me. And oh, I don't want to go to therapy. That's gonna make me sound crazy. No, baby. If you need the help, then go ahead and get the help. Um,
Absolutely.
so I have done a lot of reinventing or evolving, if you will. It's like the
Absolutely.
evolution of Tracy at this point.
Absolutely.
And I have my moments. I have moments when
Who
you
don't?
know when you go. I've come to the place of acceptance with all three.
Mhm.
Sometimes I go back to the denial or the
Mhm.
angry stage or even the depression part of it, but I
Mhm.
recognize it. I can recognize when I'm depressed just by the way my house is, when it's and I have OCD real bad. So if
Okay.
there's stuff out of that, I recognize it. And I sit in it for a second and
Mhm.
then I deal with it and I fix it. And I have people that in my inbox all the time, like, how do you do it?
Right. That part.
How
Because
do you how do you it nothing but God.
mm,
Nothing but God. Because like you said, I've met people on this journey. I've met parents
mhm.
and they're still stuck right at that first
Right.
stage of grief,
Mhm.
that denial or that um depression or that
Mhm.
anger or the bargaining or you know they haven't come to the place of acceptance,
Right.
and that takes courage to get to that place.
It does.
And although I accepted, um one thing's for certain and two things for sure, I will always be their mother. I will always
Absolutely.
speak their name. So I will always be
Absolutely.
my father's daughter. I will always
Mhm.
speak his name. But God needed them more than me. And now I have three angels watching over me. I have
You do.
I have them, they're the thing called signs from heaven. I have pennies that drop. It be two or three pennies in the weirdest places, and that's when I know. Um, Taekwon used to call me the most beautiful girl in the world. When that song
Oh.
comes on randomly, I know it's him.
Mm,
Like, hey son, how you
absolutely.
doing? Um, recently it's been the cardinal birds. It's been two birds, literally a red one
Really.
and a blue one, on my truck, right? And I'm like,
Mhm.
where in the world did these come from? And all I do is say, hey boys, so I do get signs from heaven. I do get, those little things when it's rough, like, boys, give mommy a little sign. And it's always been the pennies for me, though. It's the random two pennies in the weirdest places. Like, I could have just left the office at work and
Mhm.
I'm having a rough day, and literally look at the floor and there's nothing on the floor, and then I come back, there's two pennies on the floor in a random spot, and I'm like,
Wow. Yep.
nobody's been in the office but me. So, and I know they wasn't there before, so, but it's
The-
definitely God.
It is. It's and he's all over you. Like I
Thank
can see it. I
thank
can see it. I can feel it. So, Tracy, what's next for TNT Wilson Foundation?
you. There is so much going on for me and the foundation. So the next bill I want to work on is the mental health bill. So
Okay.
when someone has a break, and I want that one to be Taekwon's law. I want that's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
Um, I want it to be called the Taekwon's law, um, where when someone has a mental breakdown, that they stay in the hospital for at least 14 days, so that the medicine can regulate, so we can say, okay, this too strong, this, that's what I'm working on. That's the next part of the
Okay.
TNT Wilson Foundation. I have a couple of CPR classes coming up at my
Okay.
at my job and a couple of other places, and still speaking. We want to get these AEDs in every school in every state. So
Absolutely.
we just want to go on a crusade and just start doing it and making sure that they are in place in every school, because that's important.
It is important and it's
That is
definitely
important.
needed.
So that's the TNT Wilson Foundation. Then I have I've teamed up with 10 phenomenal women on the love languages of grief. That's coming out in June.
Nice.
Co-author on that. And then my talk show.
Okay.
So my talk show is premiering May 5th. It's called Sister Vibes. And
Okay.
it is on Black on Demand TV channel on Roku. And
Okay.
so, what Sister Vibes is, it's phenomenal women like you and I that have turned their pain into a purpose, from starting businesses to writing
Mhm.
books. So, we sit on the couch and, like we doing now, we sit on the
Yes,
couch
ma'am.
and we just vibe as sisters, So,
Okay.
that is airing May 5th. And I'll send you the information on that.
Please do. Please do.
And then September, my book, When Pain Meets Power, will be out.
I want a copy, Tracy.
I
I'm gonna
got you.
send you my address. You gotta send me
I
a
got
copy.
you. I got you. I got
You have
you.
to sign it too.
Oh, I gotta sign it. Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. I got you. I got you. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm doing it, and in addition to being a full time manager at Dollar
Mhm.
General, so I'm still working and doing all of this. So it's the author, the TV host, the the manager, all of it, the CEO. But before I'm anything, I'm just little old Tracy,
And forever the mother.
and forever the mother. Yeah.
Forever the mother.
Mhm.
Tracy, if
Yes.
anybody would like to get in contact with you to ask you about your book, to find out about the foundation, how would they go about getting in contact with you?
So the TNT Wilson Foundation Facebook page is on Facebook. I am Jersey Doll 50 underscore on Instagram, Tracy Wilson on Facebook, and they can email me at tracywilson4044 at gmail.com for any questions, any speaking engagements, anything of that nature. I don't know if I should put my phone number out there, but we'll just leave the email address out there. We'll put the email as tracywilson4044 at gmail.com.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all heard it here first on the Influence show on Total Entertainment Radio. Check out TNT Foundation on Facebook. Learn about Tracy and what she's doing with her foundation. Learn her story. She has books coming out. She's a co-author on one book. She got her own book coming out. I need y'all to keep up with Tracy Wilson, okay? Because I see big things
Thank
coming
you.
from her. She got a bill pass. She got a bill pass. And she's working on another one. That if that don't scream big things, I don't know what does. So y'all keep in contact, get in touch with, call Tracy, learn about what she's doing with her foundation because you never know. She may be doing something that you may need help with or that you may need to know. So get in contact with her.
If they need help with starting an organization, if a nonprofit, I can.
Nonprofit. That's another thing. Yes, Tracy. Are you 501c3?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm going to be calling you myself.
Well, you got the number, so call me, girl. Yes, yes, yes. Call me. Yep.
And for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us on the Influence to Influence show. You can check out an all new Influence to Influence every Wednesday and Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Just visit our website, www.totalentradio.com, and click the TER radio button. Wednesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. If you are interested in also being spotlighted on the radio, an interview, or featured on our website, you can hit us up on Facebook at Total Entertainment Radio, or you can also send us an email at totaleNTradiopromo@gmail.com. My comment section is blowing up, Tracy. Okay. Um, let me tell you what some of the people are saying. So Lakeisha chimed in and said, "Hey Tracy, you are a phenomenal woman." We have Danielle Dubois Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
She loves you. She's inspired by you, and she's
Oh,
so proud of you. She said, "Keep doing it for your boys, baby girl."
okay. Oh,
Um, and then I have other comments. That's
okay.
that's from somebody that is a part of Total Entertainment Radio.
Oh, what they say,
but
girl?
just wanted to give you that little tidbit about the comments. But I'm going to go ahead and close this show out.
Okay.
It was so nice to get to know you and know about your foundation, Tracy. I truly appreciate it. It has been an honor.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. You are so welcome.
I'm gonna stay
And
backstage for a second so we can chat
yes,
a little
ma'am. Yes,
bit.
ma'am. And for everybody out there, we are out. Peace.